This is Sandy Tankers for TOS50.com, and I'm at the Gold Coast Motorcycle Shop in New Hyde Park, Long Island, and I'm here today to speak with Jamie Cruz, the president of the Nassau Wings Motorcycle Club. Good afternoon, Jamie.
How do you do?
You know, when people think of motorcycle people riding motorcycles, I think people in our age group, the age group that's on the TOS50.com website, we may tend to think of Jimmy Dean or maybe even worse, Hell's Angels. We don't think of nice, family type people riding motorcycles on a Sunday. But you seem like a fairly, complacent, normal kind of person.
The disguise works well.
Okay, so why don't you tell us, what is the Nassau Wings Motorcycle Club, firstly?
We've been around for, actually, next year will be our 25th anniversary. Started out from a spin-off from a group in Suffolk County called the Suffolk Wings. But there were a lot of members who lived in Queens and Nassau that didn't like having to go out to Patchogue for their meetings, so they kind of split off. Actually, I don't even think the Suffolk Wings is even in existence anymore. We became a splinter group. We're now, I think, the only one surviving. We started out, as the name would imply, with mostly gold wing motorcycles, but now we have just about every different type of motorcycle out there, every brand, men and women. Our youngest member just turned 30, and we have members all the way up into their, I think they're knocking on 70.
And what is it that you guys do? Do you just go out and ride, or do you have other interests? What is it that you do?
Well, I like to tell people that we're an eating club with a motorcycling disorder, because everywhere we end up going to usually has a restaurant at the end of it. For the most part, we do, during the summer, there are other clubs in the area that will put on events, either to raise money for charity like we do, or just, to raise money for their own interests. And what they'll do is they'll put on different rides in different parts of Long Island or New York State. They're either one of two types. There's a parade type where everybody leaves at once and you've got a police escort, and that's more popular down here on Long Island. Or upstate, where they'll give you a route sheet with like mileage and directions, and you kind of follow along at your own pace, which is kind of more like what we like to do. We don't like to be riding in giant mobs. We like to kind of be on our own, riding at our own pace. Usually they're very scenic roads. Sometimes they're challenging. They'll have different checkpoints along the way with different activities. And at the end, there's usually a barbecue or something like that, and we bring up that eating part again.
I noticed that you said something about charitable events. What kind of charitable events do you participate in?
Well, there's some of the biggest ones in the area you've got is the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation, which is a pet charity for Honda and several dealerships also. I think New Rock, Harley Davidson. Another one is the March of Dimes. There's a local celebrity, Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, who does a huge run for that organization in the spring. Our club, actually we're going on our 11th year, got involved with amyloidosis when a friend of ours, his father had moved to Florida, and shortly after he moved there, he apparently succumbed to difficulties from the disease. And like a lot of people back then, and probably quite a few now, never heard of the disease. He approached us asking if we could do something to try to raise some money for awareness and to help further research so others like his father don't have to suffer.
And so you guys help raise money for these charities?
Yeah.
That's great. And there are women in the club as well?
Yeah, one of our founding members is actually a woman, although she's what we call an absentee now. She and her husband moved to Pennsylvania, but they're still pretty active and in email, and they visit us and we visit them when we can.
Well, thank you very much, Jamie, for giving us some insight into the Nassau Wings Motorcycle Club here on Long Island. And thank you for talking to us today.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right.